Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are starting a new chapter, which is chapter number 11 of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. This chapter is entitled The Universal Form, and verse number 1. Arjuna Vacha Mad Anugrahaya Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Sapnitam Yatvaktam Vachastena Maho Yam Vigato Mama. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So up till now we have seen the theory part of the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna has given knowledge to Arjuna about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. And he has explained to Arjuna that he is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the Lord of all. He's the cause of all causes. So now Arjuna wants, for our benefit, he wants Krishna to show his opulences. Now, all this was theory up till now, but now he wants a demonstration of Krishna's opulences. So here, this verse that we read just now, Arjuna is saying, my illusion is dispelled, which means he's no longer in Maya. What is illusion? It's Maya, that which is not. And he has, because his illusion is dispelled, he understands Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not an ordinary human being. He's not a great personality. No, he's the Supreme Lord. How did he come to that conclusion? By hearing. He heard from Krishna attentively. So there are two things. One is hearing and one is listening. Hearing is we may hear from one ear and take it out from the other ear. But listening is where we are paying attention and we are contemplating on what we have heard. So Arjuna, because he heard attentively, he is now getting the benefit of all the spiritual knowledge he has achieved so far from Krishna. You see, what was he hearing? The confidential spiritual subjects. And in this chapter, Krishna is going to reveal how he is the cause of all causes. You see, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear that even Mahavishnu appears from Krishna. Krishna is the source. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Incarnation in Sanskrit is called avatar. So there is Yuga avatar, Leela avatar, Shaktavesh avatar. There's so many different incarnations, but Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And that is what he's going to practically show to Arjuna in this chapter number 11. Now, Arjuna, he, of course, was the close friend of Krishna, and he was very enlightened, a pure devotee of the Lord, and he was very happy that Krishna was his friend. But now he is seeing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Arjuna had a doubt that it's possible others may not really accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. So, for our benefit, he's now going to request Krishna to show the universal form, which is also called Virat Roop or Vishwaroop. You see, there are many people in this world who claim to be God. Now, the moment, for instance, if I tell you I am God, the first question you would have in your mind is, or you would ask me, Can I show my Virat Roop? Can I show my universal form? If I'm not able to show the universal form, then how can I be God? I cannot be, you see. So Arjuna knew that, later on, further, thousands of years down the road, there may be imposters, who may want to claim to be God. So here Krishna wants Arjuna, to satisfy Arjuna by showing his universal form for the benefit of those who are claiming to be God. Now, in the very next verse, Arjuna is addressing Krishna as lotus eyed one. So beautiful, right? Lotus eyed one. He says, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and have realized your inexhaustible glories. You see, he is addressing Krishna as lotus eyed one because he is so he, Krishna is so beautiful, and Arjuna could realize that. And out of joy, he is addressing, saying, Krishna, your eyes are like beautiful lotus petals. And he's telling Krishna, yes, I have heard everything that you've explained to me in detail, and I have understood that you are the source of everything. You are pervading everywhere. You see? So now Arjuna wants to put across his wish. He has a wish. And what is his wish? He says, I want to see you, Krishna, enter into this cosmic manifestation. In other words, I want to see your universal form. Now, an important point to understand is he's requesting this for our benefit, to convince us that yes, the scriptures are saying Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and here is a practical demonstration. And Arjuna was very inspired by Krishna's words. He was fully satisfied. He had completely understood Krishna's position, but he's still requesting it for us. And he's addressing Krishna as Purushottama, the greatest. Purusha Uttama, Uttama Purush. And he wants to show that, look, Krishna is present everywhere. Now, when we say Krishna is present everywhere, we've already heard in the Bhagavad Gita, and we'll hear again in chapter 15, where Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto. I'm situated in everyone's heart. So because Krishna is there in Arjuna's heart also, Krishna understood Arjuna's desire. He knew that Arjuna is satisfied. He doesn't need any convincing, but he's asking for the universal form for the benefit of people in general. Now, Arjuna, he did not demand, show me your universal form. No, he is requesting, he's saying, if you think that this is a good idea, you show me the universal form. Srila Prabhupada says that no one can see the universal form of the Lord. Even if one is able to see, one cannot understand or perceive Krishna. It is only when we perform loving devotional service to the Lord, that is when it is possible to understand Krishna and his universal form. So Arjuna, he was not depending on, his speculative strength, let me maybe according to me, in my opinion. No speculation at all. And he's admitting to Krishna, I am limited, my senses are limited. You see, all living entities have limitations, but Krishna does not. So he's acknowledging Krishna's supreme position. You see, for anybody to understand the Supreme Lord, it is not possible by just reading the scriptures or hearing the scriptures. No. We definitely need the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Without that, it's not possible Krishna is called Yogeshwara, inconceivable power that he has. It's not possible to understand with our tiny, tiny, tiny intelligence. We may be very well educated academically, we may have big, big degrees, but to understand the Supreme Lord, we definitely need his mercy. And here, Arjuna, he's pleading to Krishna for his grace. He's not ordering him. He's just pleading to him that please, if you think, isn't it polite? Whenever we want something from somebody, it's always nice to be polite and say, if you think, then maybe you can do this for me. Not that do this for me or do that for me. No. So, since Arjuna is pleading and Krishna, he satisfies the desires of surrendered souls. And Arjuna was fully conscious of Krishna, you see. We have these material senses by which maybe we may be able to acquire material things, but when it comes to spirituality, no. The only way to understand Krishna is through devotional service. Srila Prabhupada says, only by devotional service we can understand Krishna. And devotional service starts with chanting, doing mantra meditation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is how we purify our hearts, we purify our intelligence, our senses, our mind, our body. Then we can understand Krishna. You see? So, since Arjuna is pleading to Krishna, Krishna now is telling Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, he's addressing him. He's saying, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms. Devotees are not so eager to see this universal form of the Lord. But Arjuna wanted Krishna to show this so that ordinary people can understand who is Krishna. And ordinary people cannot see this universal form. They need the power from Krishna. They need the divine eyes. You see? That is important. Even Arjuna standing there in the battlefield, he could not see Krishna's universal form till Krishna gave him the divine eyes to see the universal form. Krishna tells Arjuna, O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, all other demigods. He says, behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. So even for Arjuna, it is not possible to know everything. When someone says, oh, I've read the Bhagavad Gita and I've understood it, wrong. It's not possible. It's not possible to understand Krishna completely. No. Only by mercy of Krishna it is. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that whatever you wish to see, behold at once in my body. So Krishna is making it very clear everything is within him. Everything comes from him. We learned this in last chapter, right? Chapter number 10. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarvam pravartate. That everything comes from me. Krishna says all material planets, spiritual planets, every living entity comes from me. So Krishna tells Arjuna, this universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving, non-moving, is here in my body in one place. Is it possible for us to see the entire universe? No, but a devotee can see everything. How? By the power of Krishna. So, Krishna, he can give power to see the past, present, and future. So, how is that possible? only by mercy of Krishna. But Krishna says, Arjuna, you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Divine eyes. You see? See, just like without these glasses, I cannot read. So I need these glasses to be able to read, to be able to see all of you. I need them. So, similarly, if we want to really see the world in, you can say, with spiritual vision, then we need to put on the glasses of the scriptures, which is the Bhagavad Gita. When we see the world through the Bhagavad Gita, then we see the world as it is. So, here, Arjuna wanted to see the Vishwaroop, the universal form. Now, for that, he needed divine eyes. And Krishna is giving the divine eyes to Arjuna because Arjuna is a pure devotee. Right now, Arjuna in the battlefield is seeing Krishna in his two-handed form, right? That's a two-handed form he's seeing, but he had not seen the universal form. So we do not need to change anything. The only thing that needs to be changed is the vision. And here Arjuna is getting that divine vision. And Arjuna wanted Krishna to show this for our benefit. Devotees are not interested, in seeing the big Virat Roop of the Lord. They are very happy with the beautiful, attractive Shyam Sundar form of the Lord, the two-handed form. They are not interested in display of opulences because they know Krishna is the cause of all causes. But Arjuna, he wanted to show the world in general that whatever Krishna has talked about in theory, he's now going to show it practically in his universal form. And when Krishna took that big, huge, gigantic universal form, what did Arjuna see in that? This chapter tells us. He saw in the universal form, there were unlimited mouths, eyes, unlimited wonderful visions, and the whole universal form was decorated with celestial ornaments, and there were so many weapons. And he saw Krishna in his universal form wearing celestial garlands and garments, and he saw many divine serpents, and he saw so much he saw in there. Everything was wondrous, everything was brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Just imagine. I'm sure most of you have seen the universal form that, when you put in Google universal form of Krishna, you see so many different pictures. But this chapter gives the detailed description. You see? Detailed about thousands of hands and legs and mouths, everything, and planets, everything. But by mercy of Krishna, Arjuna could see all of that in one place. That itself shows us that Krishna has inconceivable potency. Now, Sanjaya, we all have heard from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya, who was sitting in the palace with the blind king Dhritarashtra, and he had received divine eyes to see what's happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he is describing all this to Dhritarashtra. He's actually giving a mental picture to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra had no eyes, he was blind, he couldn't see. Of course, Prabhupada says he was materially blind and spiritually blind at the same time. And that's a terrible situation to be in, right? To be spiritually blind is awful. But here, Sanjaya, by the mercy of his spiritual master Vyasadeva, who gave him the divine eyes, to sit in the palace and still see what's happening in the battlefield. So what is Sanjaya explaining to Dhritarashtra? That they both are on the chariot. Arjuna and Krishna both are on the chariot. No one could see this universal form. This vision was only for Arjuna. And what did he see? thousands of planets in the body of Krishna. You see? So now that Arjuna got this divine vision, his relationship with Krishna changed. No more friends, because he understood this is the Supreme Lord, whom I thought was just my best friend. He is actually the Supreme Lord. So now he was not dealing with Krishna as a friend, but as a disciple. His relationship with Krishna was now of wonder. How great Krishna is. You see? He was ecstatic. His hair was standing. He was not afraid of that universal form, but he was delighted. He was happy. And what did he see in that? He saw all the demigods inside the body of Krishna. He saw all living entities. He saw Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, great sages and serpents, the celestial serpent, the snake bird Vasuki. He actually saw the whole universe inside, from beginning to end. He's sitting on chariot, but by mercy of Krishna, he's able to see everything. And Krishna is, Sanjay is also describing further that he could see unlimited mouths and eyes and weapons. And now Arjuna has started praying to the Lord. He's calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's not saying that, just because Krishna is my very close friend, so let me address him as the Supreme Lord. No, he's doing that because he has learned this from the scriptures. He has learned it from Krishna himself. And now he's seeing it practically, the whole thing. And he's saying, you, Krishna, you are without an origin. You are the middle or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are your eyes. He could see all that. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth. It's burning this entire universe by your radiance. Now, up till now, Krishna told Arjuna that my opulence are limitless. And so here, Arjuna could see, yes, they are limitless. You see? And Arjuna could see that the demigods, they are terrified and they are surrendering to the Lord. They are praying to Krishna for protection. You see? So we get all these references from the scriptures that explain to us the position of Krishna and the position of the demigods also. That Krishna is the Lord of all. He is like Parama Ishvara. He is even above the demigods. And Arjuna, he could see various manifestations of Lord Shiva, Adityas, Vasus, Sadhyas, Vishwadevas, Maruts, forefathers, Gandharvas, Yakshasas, Asuras. He could see all the demigods inside. And he could see that all of these are beholding Krishna in wonder. They are all offering prayers to Krishna. So Arjuna, he's now praying to Krishna. He's saying, "O Lord of Lords, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing your blazing blazing death-like faces and awful teeth in all directions. I am bewildered because the universal form is gigantic. It's so difficult to conceive. Just have a mental picture of this. Here is this universal form where there is blazing fire, everyone is within, all the planets and the demigods, and everything is within. And it's not only that, what else did Arjuna see? Krishna is giving an idea to Arjuna about the near future. Arjuna saw all the sons of Dhritarashtra, 100 sons, along with their allied kings, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all the chief soldiers, all they are rushing inside the mouth of Krishna in this universal form. And they are being trapped and smashed between the teeth of Krishna. What does that mean? It shows that all these Kauravas, all those who are standing against Arjuna in the battlefield, they are all going to die. So Krishna is showing Arjuna the future, that look, you don't want to fight because you think, oh, these are my relatives, my cousins, and spiritual master, etc., etc. I don't want to kill them because they are so dear to me. But guess what? They are on the side of irreligious people. They have all been irreligious. And those who are irreligious always come to this kind of end. They are going to die because they took the side of irreligiosity. So, Arjuna, you don't have to worry. You Pandavas, you five brothers, have always been religious, always followed religion. You've always been pious. So, you will not die. But these Kauravas, including all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, starting with Duryodhana, the most irreligious person, they all are going to die. So don't worry. You just become my instrument. You fight in this battle as my instrument, and I'm showing you already that they all are going to die, so you don't need to worry at all. In other words, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you will be victorious, you will win this battle. By now, after Krishna started speaking, the giving the spiritual knowledge to Arjuna from chapter 2 onwards, right up to now, Arjuna is kind of soaked. He is soaked with all this spiritual knowledge. And what's the benefit of this spiritual knowledge? He is able to understand he is not this body, he is a spirit soul. He is eternal, eternal living entity. He is part of Krishna. He is not going to die. And so also his relatives are not going to die. They will just change their bodies. Just like this garment that I'm wearing, once this becomes old and torn, I'm just going to throw it and wear another garment. You see, that's what we do. This body is like a garment for the soul. It's just a covering. So Arjuna understood, with all this knowledge from Krishna, all this spiritual knowledge, that I am not this body, and all these living entities on the battlefield, they are not these bodies, they are eternal spirit souls. This is the benefit of spiritual knowledge. We become realized, self realized. We understand the purpose of the human form of life, which is not just eat, sleep, and be merry. This human form of life is a life of responsibility, because we have philosophical intelligence to figure out what's right, what's wrong based on the knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita is giving us that spiritual knowledge. And Arjuna here, he is looking at this beautiful universal form, and he's addressing Krishna. He's praying to him. He's saying, "O Lord of Lords." He's also addressing him as Parameshwara. So fierce of form, please tell me who you are. Now, Arjuna knew who Krishna is, but he's asking this question for us. He's inquiring for our benefit. And Arjuna is saying, I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You're the primal Lord. I want to know more about you, for I do not know what your mission is. So, Srila Prabhupada says that inquiry is a sign of intelligence. So, when we inquire, when we ask questions, when we try to remove our doubts, these are all signs of intelligence. We're trying to understand What is the purpose of this human form of life? What am I doing here? First of all, where did I come from? And $1 million question is, why am I suffering? I've been good all my life. Why am I suffering? And how to break the cycle of birth and death. These are intelligent questions. And we see Arjuna throughout the Bhagavad Gita is asking so many questions for our benefit. So we can understand what we need to do and what we should not do. And see, so I have covered verses 1 through 31. We'll continue the remaining chapter next Sunday, where we will see more opulences and we will also hear more of Arjuna's prayers to Lord Krishna. So I'm going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments, you are welcome to ask.